This was a disastrous press conference at the White House. Donald Trump's chief propagandist, Karoline Leavitt, was begging for Donald Trump to get a Nobel Prize. She said he solved a war every single month he's been president. She also announced plans to essentially destroy the East Wing of the White House and rebuild it with a massive 90,000 square foot gold-plated ballroom that Donald Trump thinks is the most important priority. It'll cost about $200 million or so. They claim that they're going to get it from private donors. Trump claims he's going to put his own money into it. I don't believe that. I believe he's going to probably shake down private donors as quid pro quos. This is not good for our country at all. Karoline Leavitt also claims that we've defeated inflation and that everything's good. It's at the same time we got the report this morning that inflation is red hot and surging right now. Let me just show you what went down here. So here, Karoline Leavitt begs for Donald Trump to receive a Nobel Peace Prize during this presser. Here, play this clip.
This means President Trump has brokered, on average, about one peace deal or ceasefire per month during his 6 months in office. It's well past time that President Trump was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize.
And here she's asked, so is like the East Wing of the White House going to be destroyed? The way she describes it is it's going to be modernized. That means it's going to be destroyed. Did you all see how they destroyed the Rose Garden and they put concrete over it and they're basically turning it into a patio right now? Here, let's just play this clip.
Eager beavers. How much of the East Wing will be torn down? The entire East Wing or just parts of it?
So the East Wing is going to be modernized. The necessary construction will take place. And for those who are housed in the East Wing, including the Office of the First Lady, the White House Military Office, the White House Visitors Offices, those offices will be temporarily relocated while the East Wing is being modernized.
Next up, you have Karoline Leavitt saying all the so-called experts who said that there would be inflation and consumers would be hurt. They were so wrong. Everything is perfect right now. The economy is booming. I really don't know what world you're living in other than Donald Trump's fraud world, because consumers are struggling right now. Consumer sentiment is almost at an all-time low, Karoline, and inflation is absolutely surging right now. But play this clip.
The same so-called experts claimed that President Trump's tariffs would spike inflation and hurt American consumers. But consumer spending growth just accelerated and inflation remains right on track. For the past 5 straight months, core inflation has come in below market expectation and remains in line with the Fed's 2% inflation target.
And here she talks about rebuilding the White House and how it's going to be this $200 million gold-plated ballroom. Look, all we want is affordable homes, lower prices. You promised you would end the war in Ukraine in 24 hours, and none of that's happened. You promised you would end the war in Gaza in 24 hours. So things are far worse right now. Here, play this clip.
Get to questions. I do have one other announcement from the White House and from the president. We are proud to announce that the construction of the new White House ballroom will begin. For 150 years, presidents, administrations, and White House staff have longed for a large event space on the White House complex that can hold substantially more guests than currently allowed. President Trump has expressed his commitment to solving this problem on behalf of future administrations and the American people. The White House is one of the most beautiful and historic buildings in the world. Yet the White House is currently unable to host major functions, honoring world leaders in other countries without having to install a large and unsightly tent approximately 100 yards away from the main building's entrance. The White House State Ballroom will be a much needed and exquisite addition of approximately 90,000 total square feet of innately designed and carefully crafted space with a seated capacity of 650 people, which is a significant increase from the 200-person seated capacity in the East Room of the White House. In recent weeks, President Trump has held several meetings with members of the White House staff, the National Park Service, the White House Military Office, and the United States Secret Service to discuss design features and planning. President Trump has chosen McCreary Architects as the lead architect, which is well known for their classical architectural design and based right here in our nation's capital.
And here are some of the photos of the way they're going to claim to reconstruct the White House. And again, it's just going to be a constant stain of the White House and in Washington, D.C. to have no one wants this here right now. That's not where the priority should be right now at all. Take a look at another close-up that they had. They did a whole press release on this. Here, Karoline Leavitt says, and look, we all know that Donald Trump has a great attention to detail, so he's just going to remake the White House. Here, play this clip.
The site of the new ballroom will be where the small, heavily changed and reconstructed East Wing currently sits. The East Wing was constructed in 1902 and has been renovated and changed many times, with a second story added in 1942. White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles has provided the following statement. President Trump is a builder at heart and has an extraordinary eye for detail. The president and the Trump White House are fully committed to working with the appropriate organizations to preserve the special history of the White House while building a beautiful ballroom that can be enjoyed by future administrations and generations of Americans to come.
Again, just stop. Don't touch it. If it looks anything like the Oval Office, it's going to look disgusting. The Oval Office right now looks like, as Charlie Angus puts it, a gangster's bordello. Like, what the hell does it even look? Fake gold. This looks so gaudy. And here Karoline Leavitt talks about, this is her broader speech on Donald Trump stopped the war in Thailand and Cambodia. Donald Trump stopped the war between India and Pakistan by dangling trade. Donald Trump, no, he didn't. He didn't stop the war in India and Pakistan. He didn't stop the war in Rwanda. It's not true. What Trump, you can't take credit for wars breaking out that shouldn't have broken out in the first place and then say you're the reason they stopped. The wars that Donald Trump said he was going to stop was the war in Gaza, and we see the atrocities right now taking place against the Palestinian people. We see innocent people starving to death there, and it's absolutely horrific, while Donald Trump gives carte blanche authority to Benjamin Netanyahu. And Donald Trump promised he'd end the war in Ukraine in 24 hours. That was the promise. Not that there would be new wars created and that he would try to take credit for, ceasefires and new wars, because the world is a less stable place. Anyway, here's what she says. Let's play it.
On the peace front, President Trump helped deliver an immediate and unconditional ceasefire between Thailand and Cambodia. The two countries were engaged in a deadly conflict that had displaced more than 300,000 people until President Trump stepped in to put an end to it. The president spoke directly on the phone with the acting Prime Minister of Thailand and the Prime Minister of Cambodia to inform both leaders that unless they brought their conflict to an end, there would be no trade discussions or agreements with the United States. Almost immediately afterward, a peace was brokered that will save thousands of lives and allowed for trade negotiations with these countries to resume, and they have. The president has now ended conflicts between Thailand and Cambodia, Israel and Iran, Rwanda and the Democratic Republic of the Congo, India and Pakistan, Serbia and Kosovo, and Egypt and Ethiopia. This means President Trump has brokered, on average, about one peace deal or ceasefire per month during his 6 months in office. It's well past time that President Trump was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize.
Then she says, I have an update about the deal with the European Union. It's not $60 billion in investments from the European Union. They're investing $600 billion in investments. No, they're not. They're not. Japan's not investing $550 billion. South Korea is not investing $350 billion. I mean, just think about it. I mean, or $450 billion. South Korea's entire GDP is 1.1 trillion. You're telling me South Korea is investing 24% in its GDP. Japan's GDP is 4.4 billion. It's not in, or 4 trillion, not billions, trillions. You think that they're going to invest close to, 15-16% of their GDP? That's not happening. And they're saying it's not happening. They're saying it's not guaranteed. These aren't trade deals. Show me the deal. Literally, show me the piece of paper that's the deal. That's all I'm asking for. Have we all entered contracts before? I'm sure you've entered contracts when you get a car or when you rent something, right? You sign something. Okay, where is the trade deal itself? That's how I know it's all BS too. And you listen to what the other countries are saying. Here, play this clip.
I don't have any updates for you at this time. I do have an update on our EU trade deal. I stand corrected. It's not $60 billion in investments. It's $600 billion in investments. I want to make that very clear. And now
Karoline Leavitt can't answer a very simple question about what tariff rate most countries in the world will be hit with as of tomorrow. Here, play this clip.
Thanks, Caroline. For the countries that don't have a deal yet, should we be looking at the April 2nd chart at all? Or is he negotiating and talking about having a set tariff rate, 10%, 20%?
Those discussions are taking place with the trade team today. And again, we'll provide further guidance with that executive order once it is signed. And the answer to that question will be in that executive order.
And by the way, I want to give a shout out to our friends at Snapstream. That's the technology we use to capture these clips. And they allow us to monitor lots of cable news and lots of press conferences at the same time. If you're interested in reaching out to those folks at Snapstream, in the description below, there's a link. Reach out to them. It's mostly for businesses, not for like individuals, but reach out to them and see what packages they have for you. Anyway, here's Karoline Leavitt saying, oh, Trump is a humanitarian with a big heart. Here, play this clip.
President Trump is a humanitarian with a big heart, and that's why he sent Special Envoy Witkoff to the region in an effort to save lives and end this crisis. Tomorrow, Special Envoy Witkoff and Ambassador Huckabee will be traveling into Gaza to inspect the current distribution sites and secure a plan to deliver more food and meet with local Gazans to hear firsthand about this dire situation on the ground.
Next, she attacks Nancy Pelosi and says what we really need to do is stop Nancy Pelosi from stock trading. By the way, I have no problem stopping her from stock trading. I don't think any member of Congress or Senate should be trading stocks. But Donald Trump specifically did a carve out for himself so that he can still trade stocks and meme coins. And he exempted himself from the legislation. And he's the one grifting more than anybody. But here, play this clip about Pelosi.
Okay. So I think the president stands with the American people on this. He doesn't want to see people like Nancy Pelosi enriching themselves off of public service and ripping off their constituents in the process. As for the mechanics of the legislation and how it will move forward, the White House continues to be in discussions with our friends on Capitol Hill.
And notice over here how Karoline Leavitt pivots from talking about that, and then Donald Trump talks about hosting the G20 at Doral. Here, play this clip.
I wanted to ask about this report that the president wants to host a G20 meeting at Trump Doral. How is he going to do that, considering all the preparations that have been going on in South Africa? And also, would that be seen as his businesses possibly profiting from hosting this kind of meeting?
I would reject that premise entirely. We have announcements and details forthcoming on the G20, but my understanding is no firm announcement is ready to be made at this time. I did see the report, but we're not in a place to confirm it just yet.
Yeah, you see, Donald Trump wants the G20 at his golf club so he can grift and he can make more money off it. Finally, Karoline Leavitt was asked this question about Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. And what did Bessent mean yesterday when he called the new Trump accounts for newborns, that's what they call them, Trump accounts, a backdoor to privatizing Social Security? That was their plan all along. They're going to get rid of your Social Security. And one of the ways they're going to do it is by creating what they call Trump accounts for babies. And they're going to try to replace Social Security with these private accounts and private investments, which eventually replace Social Security and the safety net, so that you take those Trump accounts and you invest it in Trumpy things and Trump companies and things like that. Anyway, here's what she says. Play it.
Ahead of the president on that baseline announcement.
And then secondly, what did Treasury Secretary Bessent mean yesterday when he called the new Trump accounts for newborns a, quote, backdoor to privatizing Social Security? Does the administration view this new Trump accounts as a way to, in the long term, perhaps privatize Social Security?
What the Secretary of Treasury was saying, and what this administration believes, is that these Trump newborn accounts, which is an incredibly creative and great provision that was in the One Big Beautiful Bill for newborn babies and families and future generations of Americans, will help supplement, not substitute, Social Security. The Trump administration is wholeheartedly committed to protecting Social Security. The president did it in his first term. He's doing it again in this term. But these newborn accounts are another revenue stream for young people to watch their money grow throughout their lives and to one day be able to access those funds so they can hopefully build a home and live the American dream.
There you have it, folks. A total disaster press conference. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million subscribers. And thank you for watching.
Can't get enough Meidas? Check out the Meidas Plus Substack for ad-free articles, reports, podcasts, daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, and more. Sign up for free now at MeidasPlus.com.